We still don't know the scale of how many other buildings potentially have been affected. What we do know is the Prime Minister revealing in that House of Commons statement that some of the tests that have been carried out on other buildings in the wake of the Grenfell Tower fire for this combustible cladding have come back positive. Now, subsequently, we heard from the Prime Minister's spokesperson saying it's estimated that some 600 high-rise buildings in England have used similar cladding to that used in Grenfell Tower, and that at the moment at least 3 of those buildings have got that combustible cladding. Of course, that raises very, very serious questions, not least what happens to those residents in those buildings that have been identified as having combustible cladding, and then how many other buildings potentially are also possibly at risk. So those are very serious questions that have been raised on the back of that statement. The Prime Minister saying that all high-rise buildings are going to be tested. It's thought there's some 4,000 tower blocks in the UK, and that they're able to carry out around 100 tests a day. So very big questions that have been raised there, and of course some very serious concerns, you'd imagine, for some of those residents in tower blocks across the UK right now.
And Sarah, Theresa May, we've heard her apologize several times now and talking about the measures that will be taken. But do you think it'll be enough for her to make up for the political points that she lost, really, in the immediate aftermath of this tragedy?
Well, the Prime Minister did come in for some very heavy criticism in the immediate aftermath for what was said to be a very, very slow response. And she started her statement today in the House of Commons by, again, admitting that the response in the wake of that fire simply hadn't been good enough, and said that she had apologised. In terms of the practical steps that the government are now taking, she aimed again to provide that reassurance to those residents that they would be rehoused in the coming weeks. And she also said that the financial assistance that the government has so far provided, that £5,000 down payment to the residents and an extra £500 to some families, that was not a loan, that was not expected to be paid back. She also said that public inquiry, more details of that would be forthcoming in the coming days. That will go some way, I'm sure, to reassuring those residents. But she'd also said that this was something that should never have happened. We heard the opposition leader again critiquing the fact that it had happened in the first place, and saying that these people had been seriously let down. So there is still huge attention. Remember, there's still not a final count on the number of people dead and missing. At the moment, it stands at 79 people confirmed to have died or missing, presumed dead. But the investigations into what happened at Grenfell Tower are continuing. And now you've got the investigations into other buildings across the UK also potentially at risk.
OK. Sarah Firth joining us there from London. Thanks so much for that.